Hello and welcome to Local Edition. I'm Leslie Layton. We're joined now by Chris Norby. He's an assemblyman in the 72nd District. Thank you very much for being here.
Thank you for inviting me, Leslie. A lot going on, a lot to talk about.
A lot going on. You know, as the legislative session was closing, a lot of bills were on the table. One of them, the Amazon tax truce. Tell us about that and why we might like to care about that.
The legislature passed a bill earlier this year. I didn't support it, but the bill requires Amazon to pay sales tax. Now, Amazon has no physical presence in California, and traditionally by law, internet companies have been exempt from sales tax. But the brick and mortar companies, the big guys like Target and Walmart and a lot of small mom and pop operations say this is unfair. People go into Best Buy, Leslie, they check out all the electronic equipment and then they buy it online without the 7 or 8% sales tax, depending on where you live. And so it is an issue of equity, and it's an issue of lost revenue to the state if increasingly these purchases are being made online. When the law was passed, Amazon said the law violates federal law. It's illegal and unconstitutional. They're going to challenge it legally, and they're also going to mount a multi-million-dollar state initiative drive to overturn the law in California. So what the last-minute truce did is Amazon and the brick and mortar guys got together and said, okay, we'll exempt Amazon for a year from this new state law. And in the meantime, Amazon will work with the brick and mortar giants, the locally based retailers, to try to come up with some federal law, federal clarifying legislation to provide a level playing field and some more stable source of revenue for the state, so there isn't this war, the ongoing war between the internet and the brick and mortar companies. It
does make it confusing. It is the World Wide Web, and here we are in California, just a small part of our country. We are supposed to be paying taxes on these internet purchases that we make here in California.
Individual consumers are supposed to pay a use
how's that
tax
going for
at the
you?
end of the year.
But I don't think a lot of people do.
Most people are even unaware of it, and it's virtually impossible to enforce on the individual consumer.
So what really comes out of this is it's a heads up that this is what's on the way.
Right, right. It's a truce. It's going to last a year. Hopefully we can come up with something everybody can live with. I didn't support the internet tax, but it is a legitimate concern among locally based brick and mortar operations that they have to pay this tax, and they're the ones that support our local communities, our city governments, our little leagues, our PTAs. But at the same time, the internet is big and it's getting bigger, and what is their obligation to do what the traditional merchants have done?
That's and there would always be out of the country interest on the internet as well. Switching topics completely to redistricting. The battle lines redrawn as far as the congressional, Senate, local districts. How do you see this playing out on the political landscape in the future?
Well, redistricting was done totally different this year. By initiative, it was given to a bipartisan commission to look at the districts, try to keep together communities of interest, try to respect state and county boundaries so cities aren't all broken up, not respect incumbents, not to do it as an incumbent protection thing, which it was done 10 years ago. And I think they did a pretty good job. My district has shifted west quite a bit. I still have all of Fullerton, but now instead of La Habra, Buena Park, instead of La Habra, Placentia, Yorba, and I have Buena Park, West Anaheim, Cypress, going to Stanton and La Palma. It has led to some unusual matchups. Ed Royce now and Gary Miller are in the same congressional district, so they have to go head to head. But I think overall we'll have better districts, more compact districts, and I think they'll be more competitive because you not only have redistricting, but you have the open primary. So any Democrat, any Republican can vote for a Democrat or Republican in the primary, and the general election could pit 2 Republicans or 2 Democrats against each other. It's not the top Dem and the top Republican, but the top 2 of any party.
And some say this would make a more moderate campaign because everyone would move a little more toward the center.
It could, yes.
Chris Norby, very nice to see you here.
Always great,
today.
Leslie.
Thanks for joining us.
Thank you. Look forward to coming back soon.
All right, and thanks for joining us as well. Stay with us. More HLN right after this.